your glasses are so good.
Thank you.
Love them.
They're my favorite. I only have 3 pairs of my own. The character I played had 9,000.
9,000.
These are my favorites, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, those are good. They look particularly good against the black tufted velvet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Thank you. You know, we've all been here for a bit, so we've all gotten really used to, you know, the Zoom thing. You know, down to like having like your own like you know, tiger that you can bring out.
I love that one.
Just
that
because.
looks like a really cool animal.
He
looks like Stife or Steve, whatever we used to call that, which was a German manufacturer of stuffed animals.
This was a purchase from a gas station that I kept seeing out. Gas station. They had all the tigers, and I was like, I have to have one of those. And someone gave it to me as a present, and it's one of my prized possessions, like the best $20 ever spent. I do this Instagram reading stories at night on Instagram, and I do this sort of progressive hand motion thing. It's very hard to explain, but I've been doing it for like 77 days now. So there's 77 hand motions, and one of them in the middle was like, point to the Bengal tiger of nature. And it was very exciting when I actually got to like reveal that I had a Bengal tiger of nature. That was,
and you just threw them aside. You just
right there still. I'm going to pour this wine that I got.
Yeah. See, that's so interesting. You've got the red. I'm drinking the white, so we're covering all our bases here.
I'm very excited. It's a very pretty label. I opened it. I'm using my Alex's Lemonade stand. If people don't know this charity, alexslemonade.org. It's childhood cancer research, and they do.
Yes, I do know.
And I am one of their celebrity invitation people. And this is my
in a Playhouse. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here we go.
Oh, this is very good.
Isn't it good?
I am not, and you know, I am not a wine snob, so I'm terrible, but I can tell you that this is super juicy. And if I was at a restaurant, I'm not a wine snob, but I have a deceptively really good palate. This is good wine. It's good time.
It's really good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That was a very nice reaction. I liked that.
It was good. I approve of that.
Well, for those of you who haven't figured out that I'm speaking with Kirsten Vangsness, I think you figured it out by now, but you already knew what you were getting yourself into anyway. How you doing, my dear?
I'm good. I'm good. I was built for this moment that we're having right now.
I think you were.
I think we all need to just be very authentic and unlearn and relearn and reveal. And I was talking to one of my friends about 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about how to call this amazing, brilliant woman from Orange County, who my friend Jess, who works for the state of California, and we were talking about how to call your congressperson when you want to call them about something. And it had come to my mind when we were talking. I was like, I feel like we've been in this period of time, and I named it in the moment, the sort of I woke up like this period of time, this sort of mythology that we all sort of just arrive perfect, and we do everything perfect, and we look perfect, and everything is just out of the box. You should look, be, act, you know, and that's just not true. And I feel like we're exiting that, and we're coming into a more authentic, grounded, you know, Bambi when she first comes out of her mom and you got to lick the embryonic fluid off. I feel like we're all in that beginner's mind, and that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of humility and a lot of thoughtfulness, but a lot of gentleness with ourselves. It's just a beautiful thing to be in a space where you're going to make mistakes, and to watch people that know that they're going to make mistakes, but then move forward anyway. It's just a beautiful, brave thing that I think keeps everybody really young and flexible and vibrant. And it's really beautiful to see.
You know, I've always said that the most important word in the English language to me is grace. And moving through the world with grace and generosity for one another is just simply what I believe to be paramount. And this is a time where I think I see grace shining through at some point every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty remarkable. Just get literally got the chills saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's good. So I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Now, right, are you an Orange County girl?
I am. Well, I mean, I own a business in Orange County, Blinking Owl Distillery,
That too.
which I love very much. So I go to Orange County a lot. My mother lives in Cerritos, so Orange County adjacent. And I went to school. I went to college at Cypress College, and then I went to Cal State Fullerton, and then I did theater in Brea. I did theater in. I auditioned many a time for the Laguna Playhouse.
You did before time?
Oh my God. Are you kidding? Of course. It's like the gold standard. And you go to the and like try your I wrote a monologue one time because I was like, this monologue is, I was not up to speed or to par to be, but it is, oh my gosh. And I have a couple of dear friends that have done shows there now. And I got to do a Christmas show there twice now.
The Skivvies.
Oh, it's one of those moments that you have with your, like, you talk to your, I encourage people to have these as often as you can. You get to have these moments in life. We all do, where you talk to the younger version of yourself. You go, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
It's like a neat moment where you're like, hey, guess what? You're at the Laguna Playhouse right now. What? Like, yeah, right now. You're going to go on the stage and do. So, so I usually take my, you know how sometimes you're like, I need to get away for a couple of days. It is pretty much always to Laguna. I mean, I pretty much always.
Why wouldn't you? It's so beautiful here.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
But yeah, so I go to Orange County a lot. I'm there at least, well, not right now, given the circumstances, but I'm there at least once a month, bussing tables and doing tastings and hanging out at the distillery. So it is definitely dear to my heart.
I made first the distillery last week.
Yeah.
I met your partner there.
You met Robin and Brian.
Yeah, Brian, I think, was in the back, but Robin was there, and I had met her at the theater when she came to the theater with you. And she says that the distillery is opening up in the next couple of weeks for some.
We are opening up in the next couple of weeks. We're just making sure. Robin used to work in the health department. She was a physical therapist. She knows everything about the seriousness of this and the pragmatism that you have to treat a virus, regardless of whether people would like to stretch their heads around because it makes them uncomfortable that it is an actual thing. So we're just figuring out the best way to do that to keep everybody healthy, and figuring out like mandatory, like how do we, make, mandatory precautions for our employees to keep our employees safe, for like in their uniform, like to add a mask to their uniform. And so it becomes mandatory. Things like that. Because it's very important to us as a business, the health of our employees and the health of ourselves, above and beyond, like I said, what people would just want to close their eyes. And
I made a trip to Blinking Owl last week to pick up. I picked a bottle of vodka up that I purchased online. It was super simple to do. The same thing works with our wine. Our wine, you can order our wine online. You can order it on the Playhouse website. There's a link on these conversations that you can click into and buy a case of the red and a case of the white, and and we will get it to you. And all the proceeds go to Laguna Playhouse, which is a pretty amazing thing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Laguna Playhouse. But I'm holding up a bottle of Blinking Owl Aquavit because I'm half Danish, so
I'm half Norwegian.
So that's something that I'm supposed to care about.
Yeah. Aquavit, for those people that don't know, is a neutral spirit like vodka. It's not vodka. It's got cardamom, caraway, dill. We put a little hibiscus in ours because that's the flower of Santa Ana. And we don't use any Yeah, we don't use anise. Usually it's got anise in it because it's supposed to have a little bit of like, it's herbaceous. We
Yeah.
use fennel, so it's not real licoricey, but it makes an amazing Bloody Mary. It makes an amazing French 75, the drink with
I
champagne.
haven't tried
Gin.
the French 5, but that's a
It makes
pretty
a really good one. Just, just the regular, just use that instead of gin, and it's a beautiful,
I didn't think about the
beautiful.
Bloody Mary. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Another
So
thing we
when I
make.
went to pick it up last week, I picked up a bottle of vodka because it was a birthday gift for Rita Rudner's husband, Martin Bergman.
Very
And
exciting.
it was the most popular gift of the night. Now, I had already brought him Playhouse wine, and he'd already bought cases of wine, so he knew what he was doing with that. But he was very happy to hear about Blinking Owl.
I'm glad. We're really proud of what we do there. We're grain to glass. We buy from organic California farmers. We pay them well, which is important. Our California farmers really need that help, and we actually buy grain from them. We don't care as long as it's Durham wheat, as long as it's the stuff we're using, we don't care what it is. And so we encourage them to use grain that's going to put good stuff back into their soil, that's going to help them the next time. But we're trying to do a model that is kind to the planet, kind to the farmer, and is making a delicious product. It's pretty cool. And especially if you go down to the Blinking Owl, you can see, as you saw, it's like Adult Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, it's like an Adult Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. It's a very cool place. I can't wait to go back when it opens. Yeah, very cool. Right in the heart of Santa Ana.
And we have a beautiful outdoor, we're all outdoor. It's huge outdoor space. So it is a really great, I was just listening, I don't know if anyone knows Andrew Neumer. He is a professor at Irvine, UC Irvine.
Oh, yes.
He knows all about viruses and whatever. And one of the things that I've been hearing him say again and again is mask, 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 and outdoors. And we are outdoors. So it's nice because you can very easily socially distance and you're outside. So you don't have that people around.
Showed me that whole area outside. That's going to be, it's going to be really cool when you're back open again. And our development director lives in Santa Ana or lives in Orange. So he knows right where you are. I'm going to take him there. And so we want to make sure people know not only about Laguna Playhouse wines, but about Blinking Owl Distillery, which, again, you can order all of this stuff online.
We do make the browns. We do make the browns.
Oh, the brown stuff. I used your tasting audio and listened to.
Oh, great.
And when I sent Tom Schumacher his case, I sent him the audio too.
Perfect.
So he tasting too. So he was pretty excited. He's a vodka drinker and he loved the vodka.
Oh, it makes me happy.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, so ours was our wine was especially made for us. It was a curated wine for the Laguna Playhouse, and this is a Chardonnay called Ghost Light, and the red is called Curtain Call, which is what you're drinking. And so they've been crafted specifically for Laguna Playhouse, which is pretty great. Yeah. It's been to be able to do and to share with our audience and beyond. And
I think that's important. And I feel like that this is the value of good business is that you make something and then you give back. You make something and you give back. We pivoted to hand sanitizer, as you know.
Yeah.
Probably a week before the shutdown. Yep. And that's our hand sanitizer. We've given, drums of the stuff. Last week, we gave a bunch to the USPS in Orange County. United States Postal Service got a bunch in Orange County just for free. We've given it to senior centers for free. We gave it to Children's Hospital of Orange County for free.
I want to give my daughter a bottle because she's flown out from New York. She had COVID. She was sick for a couple of weeks. She quarantined for 3.5 months. And then she came out here and she's drive her car back across the country back to New York. Goodness. And she asked me the other day if I had hand sanitizer that she could take with her so she could use it every time she got in and out of the car. So I'm send her with it.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So speaking of COVID land, what's been the most meaningful thing you've done yourself, for yourself, or for your community in the midst of all of this. And given the fact that we started with COVID and then the world really turned
Right.
up.
Right.
And you're right in the thick of it in Los Angeles too.
Yeah. I'm down the street, you know, when we've had the big protests. There was definitely, I can say with a lot of confidence that the thing that made me the most nervous was the noises the police were making, not the noises that the protesters were making. A lot of power displayed for people standing up for what's right, and that was a little discombobulating. I think all of this for all of us has to be like both and. When the COVID thing happened, I'm a true introvert, and no one ever totally believes that. Like, I'm kind of naturally shy. This is a learned behavior to, you know, I understand that I was on something that was very beloved, and so, you know,
you're an introvert with excellent social skills.
Yeah. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that because I wanted to be an actor. And so you got to, you know, so it's like, go talk now to person, you know, so I understand that. But like me, I recharge really well by myself. I do really well by myself. So the being alone thing isn't a big deal to me. Also because I have had such a public job that to not like, oh, I'm not going to the grocery store and no one's coming up and wrapping their arms around me from behind because they can't believe it's me. And that's okay, because that show is very scary. And I understand that since I was the great exposition giver and joy giver, that people don't even mean to do that. They just come over and just hold you.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's also
comic relief. You were the character that really healed and embraced people. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to feel all the things that the audience felt. I get to be the empath. So they gave me a lot of opportunity, and I'm really lucky that I didn't play a bad guy. People love her so much, and it's so great to be her guardian, and I get to benefit from all of that. So, but I'm not gonna lie to you and say it has been really kind of wonderful, because you don't even I didn't even realize it. You know, I go to the airport and some stranger will legitimately pick my body up in joy and then be like, oh God, I'm so sorry. And I
really mean to do that.
Yeah. And I understand it. I get it. It's always a little like, what's happening? Like a little bit like that. So to have that completely removed when it's been like pretty much a decade of that was really interesting, of like, oh, you know, also a little bit on the ego of like,
yeah,
you know, but then also like, oh, okay. And I am built to, one of the things that I think I provide is creativity. So right at the very beginning of all of this, first I started to dress up like Garcia in the morning and get on Instagram and tell people things my therapist told me and make up songs about why we all have to take care of ourselves and describe the virus, because I thought all these people follow me and a lot of them are saying this thing isn't real, and what can I do? And then I read a story one night, and I happen to be by a lucky turn of events, and he is just as wonderful as a friend as he is a creator. I happen to be very close with Neil Gaiman, and I thought, oh, he won't mind if I read one of his stories. And he has this beautiful children's story called Instructions. And I read it, and I woke up the next day, and it was like 100,000 people had watched this story. And I thought, well, I guess that's a need. So I started reading these children's books that I've had from the 70s that I really want to make into something, but I can't find the rights. I can't get a hold of anybody. I've been trying and trying. There are these books by this woman named Patricia Coombs, and there are these books about this little witch, Dory.
I know this, yeah.
I have every single one of those books. I got them all discontinued from the library. I have every single one. And so I've read every single one in the last few days, and now I've gone to reading a graphic novel that I wrote last year, that this play I wrote that we took to the Fringe Festival, that is about women in history and female sexuality and all this stuff. So that's been fun. And I just started to make a show that started last week called Kirsten's Agenda, that's on YouTube. And that's about a bunch of different things, Last week it was about how to call your senator. And then this week I interview my friend Roxy, who is a Black trans woman. We don't talk about anything particularly interesting. It's just, I mean, we actually do. We talk about her growing up and her dad being in the military and how close she is with their family. But for me, it's sort of like there's things in my life, being a theatrical person and living where I do. There are things that are very normal. Life is very normal, and no matter how extraordinary you might appear. And I like being able to do that. This week, we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about voting and voting rights and how cool and important they are. I kind of like being an adult, Mr. Rogers. So I've been doing.
I like to think of you that way. That is actually a very good description of you.
I'm really into that. I like being like, we can all help. Like, I like that. That's where I live. And I've been writing a lot. I'm writing this show, and I've been experimenting a lot with performing. And so that's been really interesting to perform on Zoom and how that works. I've been doing a lot of classes, people that I know that teach at UCLA or teach at high schools, being able to talk like this has been really, it's been fun and interesting. I'm going to do a charity thing on Saturday for Project Angel Food. And I've been getting sanitizer to people. I've got about 2,000 bottles of sanitizer to protesters for Black Lives Matter in the last couple of weeks, and gotten it to hospitals around town and stuff. Me with Blinking Owl together, between like getting to my house and all that. And then, just working on where I am and where I lie in my world. I'm going to be 48 on July 7th. And I think it's, it's for me, everything is all about like, okay, how do you grow and expand next? Where do you grow and expand next? What is the dream that you want to have happen? What are your limiting beliefs that you can't make that dream come true? There's a lot of stuff I want to make and create. And I love that I got to do Criminal Minds so much. I love it so much. And it was such a great thing. Art and commerce are two totally different, things. You can't get all your art from where you're getting paid. And it's, I've even had auditions. I had an audition 2 days ago, and it's weird to like, you have this audition and you're a severely obese woman, and you're like, I have worked out every day of this COVID thing. And you're like, okay, I'm going to do your audition, and I'm going to read this scene about how I ate cookies. And it basically is like, it's written like I burnt down a damn orphanage, but I'm going to read it, and we're going to act like women do this horrible thing by eating food, although we've all seen The Holiday, and for some reason Kate Winslet is in love with Jack Black. Okay, fine, I guess.
I've always wondered about that too.
We're all going to pretend that I don't get exactly what I want in the world, being exactly the size I am, and I am not the only female like this. Well, I'll play your crazy game. But like, in terms of that, like, that's commerce. You go and you do that. And that's just the gig, Yeah. But I don't want to necessarily do that. So I have to make my own stuff. I have to write my own stuff. I have to find my own stuff. So I've been, just exploring that. So I think I was actually telling my mom this over the weekend. She was getting all understandably freaked out about the state of the world, and getting really freaked out. Like, she was scared about this and scared about this. And one of her very conservative friends sent her an article, and she said, I believe this article, and she believes it. I don't know what to do. And there was a lot of panic in her. And it was like, well, Mom, it's macro and micro, isn't it? It's inside and outside. It's like, whatever is in here that is unsettled, you have to settle this down so that you know what to do to settle that down. And I think that that's all of our work right now, is to figure out what brings you pleasure and joy and solace, so you can settle this down and take radical responsibility of what you need to do to settle this down, so that it feels joyous to go out and to give. It doesn't feel painful or like you're limiting yourself or there's some sort of starvation economy, because that's not true. Abundance and love and joy and all the real things, they aren't pies. Like there's plenty for everybody. So I feel like that's been a lot of what I've been doing. That's a really long answer to your question, but you're the one that
Well,
gave me the name.
yeah, but you need another drink of wine. Yeah. I swear that at some point I'm going to get you, now that you actually can step away from television a little bit to do more of the things that that you train to do. But I'd love to do a show with you at the Playhouse. Are there classic plays or anything? Is there anything you've always wanted to do?
Oh gosh. I mean, yeah. I want to do every Teresa Rebeck play. I want to do I want to do God.
I could see you in Noel Coward.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anything Lillian Hellman. Any like there's a lot of things. And also like for me, I write a lot of and I'm a member of Theater of Note here in Hollywood, and
right.
And I don't feel like sometimes we have, but we just need more female voices talking about the female experience.
Agreed.
And anything that does that, I'm very, very curious about. And I feel like we're not, we can do more there. I mean,
yes, we can.
A lot has happened, but like we can do more, and it's up to the people who make things and write things to make those things and write those things. So, I think all the ones that I'm thinking of right now, I'm like, I think I'd have to do that one on my own. Am I too, I don't have that button in my head that's like, are you too old for that? Are you too young for that? Are you too this for that? I don't really know.
That's why you have producers and casting directors.
That's true. And I'm always like, when they would ask me like, what's your favorite episode on Criminal Minds? I'd be like, the one I'm doing. Like, yeah. I don't really have a button about, I know when I like something, I know when I don't. And most of the time I'm like, yes. So I don't, I love, why am I drawing a blank right? I'm not drawing a blank, but I'm like all of those like old, John Patrick Shanley and Teresa Rebeck and all of those are my like.
I think John Patrick Shanley would I don't think he'd take issue with, but he'd be interested in he doesn't think of himself as old.
No, I don't think, but meaning like in terms of like things that have been around for a while. I mean,
I'm old. He's old. We're old.
No, you're not old. I tell it to my mom too. I'm like, what if we really think about it in a circular continuum of like the closer you are to being like, like my mom is in her 70s. I'm like, you're actually closer to being one than I am. Because if it goes in like you're actually closer. And Madeline Lingle says we're all the ages we've ever been. So you're all of the, you can always turn back to that age and be that thing and embody that thing. And I feel like people can, if they want to, choose to live like that, on the regular. I did the Heidi Chronicles when I was 20, and I was way too young for it. And then I think I went. So now I'm like, how do I get back to? It's such a dated play, but I love it so much.
I know.
But I love George Bernard Shaw. I love everything George Bernard Shaw. I love all that.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
We're gonna find our next adventure together. I promise. We're gonna come out the other side of this, and we're gonna find a way to get you to Laguna for longer than a night at a time.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. And how happy would our audience be?
Oh,
happy.
I would be happier than them. So that would be.
I'll look right there. But I do want to say, please do try some of this wine for yourself. Go on the Laguna Playhouse website. Curtain Call Cabernet Sauvignon and Ghost Light Chardonnay.
This is the thing I'm drinking is this Curtain Call. You guys want this in your life. This is like make some pasta and like drink it. And it's a good summer red because it's not it's juicy.
Super heavy.
It's not like I like in an ogre's mug kind of wine, but this one is not that. This is like a beautiful, juicy, good. You want that?
And it's not, for me, it's not like a Pinot that just feels like, I have to drink.
Right.
in order to make it count. But this is a nice, substantial, lovely red wine.
Agreed.
Yeah. So thank you for being with me today.
My pleasure.
And
Thanks for having me.
please do go online and order from the Blinking Owl.
No. Don't order us online. Come when we open. Get this online. Go buy this.
Go buy this online.
Go buy this. Help theater. This
And,
is good. You get
this-
karma points for that.
Yeah, this is a really helpful way to support Laguna Playhouse. So if your support involves drinking or eating with drinking, that's what you can do. And Blinking Owl hand sanitizer. Look at that.
Let's tray you. There's 3 of them. This is also how I get through the quarantine, is I have company.
Yeah, I have a dog.
Yeah.
I have a dog. I love you. I love you.
Love you too. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for doing this.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
And I want to meet you at the Blinking Owl when it's open.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
great.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye.